Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm bringing you a recommendations video. So I have 5 middle grade books that I would like to recommend that focus on stubborn girls. Recently, Madelyn with MadeWithBooks, who I will link below, had asked that I consider doing a video about some of my childhood favorite reads. Also, Nicole Lee had asked that I do some more recommendations videos. So I thought this would be a nice thing to do. These books that I'm going to recommend aren't things that I read as a child, but they're things that I think if I had read as a child, I would have been so happy reading because I was a very stubborn kind of preteen or elder elementary school student, and I would have loved to have seen some heroines, some stories about girls who were just as stubborn as I was and could be kind of role models and things like that. First, I'd like to recommend Augie and the Green Knight by Weinersmith, illustrated by Boulet. This is a book that I think we got through Kickstarter. The author, Weinersmith, is the author of the webcomic Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal. And this is a really interesting kind of chapter book that focuses on Augie, who is a 9-year-old girl who is extremely intelligent and very opinionated, very bossy, very stubborn, kind of thinks she knows everything. And the story is actually a retelling of the kind of classic Arthurian tale, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And in this story, Augie goes into the forest and she ends up being kind of transported into this different world where she meets the Green Knight. And the Green Knight, she feels, needs her help. She's decided that she is going to teach the Green Knight how to be civilized, how to make good choices, and she proceeds to have to deal with a lot of kind of logic puzzles that she has to solve, as well as real kind of moral quandaries and philosophical questions. And as she goes about trying to teach the Green Knight, she herself is maturing and learning. And this is just such a great story. It really has all of these excellent, fantastical elements. It has a lot of cool aspects in terms of her personality. She's very scientifically minded. She wants to kind of look at everything logically. And she's just such a cool character who has a really great growth arc over the course of the story. The next book that I'd like to recommend is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is a story that is sort of kind of a children's horror book. Neil Gaiman really likes to do that, and it focuses on an 11-year-old girl, Coraline, whose family has moved into this kind of creepy old house for the summer before school starts. And she's bored and she's exploring, kind of looking into things, and she discovers a door. And this door doesn't go anywhere, it's just a brick wall, except that one night she opens it and discovers that it does go somewhere, and where it goes is another version of her house where she has an other mother and an other father, and they are so much more fun than her parents. They cook great food and they want to play and they're so cool, but there's something a little off about them, and Coraline is in danger, and she has to use a lot of her adventurous spirit and her bravery, as well as her stubbornness and unwillingness to be told what to do or to fall in line. The other mother is definitely a strong character, and Coraline is not willing to go along with anything. And I just love that stubbornness and that willingness to say, no, this is not right, this is not what I want to do. I really love Coraline's character in this, and it is such a really neat thing to see a very creepy story directed at kids. I think that that's something I would have loved when I was a kid. I was more into things like Goosebumps or Fear Street then than I am as an adult, so I know I would have loved it. Next, I'd like to recommend Hurricane Child by Kacen Callender. This is a contemporary magical realism story about a 12-year-old girl, Coraline, whose mother has left. And Coraline is very unhappy. She's very unhappy that her mother left, and she's also really struggling at school. She's intelligent, she's very strong-willed, and she does not get along with her teacher or with her other classmates, and she experiences a ton of bullying. And so she's just kind of constantly fighting with everybody. She's also fighting with her dad at home. Just really, she's a fighter, and she is not willing to compromise on anything. She wants to find her mother. She wants to be herself. She wants to do the things that she thinks are right. And I love that she is so focused on that. Also, really important parts of this story are that it is magical realism. Throughout the story, she sees spirits and supernatural things, and she has to kind of navigate this world, which really is rather scary and uncertain, and try to figure out what the right choices are. She also is falling in love. She is gay, and she falls in love with a classmate of hers, and she's trying to navigate that, navigate societal expectations. There's so much that she's trying to figure out her place in, but she's unwilling to change who she is in order to fit in. And I love that. I absolutely love that strong sense of self, that belief in oneself, even when things are scary or difficult or everybody tells you you're wrong. She knows that she's right, and she knows what she wants to do. And I love that strength of character and that stubborn refusal to bend. Next, I'd like to recommend The Black Gobstrums by P. Djèlí Clark. This novella is not actually a middle grade novella, but it is something that I think kind of an older preteen would absolutely love. The story is an alternate history, steampunk fantasy set in New Orleans right around the Civil War, where New Orleans has become an independent city-state. And in this story, there is a lot of interesting things going on. So the main character is Creeper. She's 13 years old, and she is an orphan. She lives on the streets, and she is super smart, super savvy, super intelligent, and willing to do whatever she needs to do to get by. She's very resourceful, and she's sort of created a life for herself where she connects people with the things that they need. And she discovers that there's something going on. There's some sort of deal going on that's very not so great. And she goes to an airship captain from Haiti, because Haiti is an independent country with a lot of power that does trading with New Orleans. And she goes to this airship captain and she says, hey, I want to go and be part of your crew on the airship because I want that career for myself. Let me trade you some information. And she's just this absolutely powerful, creative young girl who is going to lead the life that she wants to lead. And she's not going to let people interfere with her. Although she does have the Orisha, the kind of goddess of the wind, Oya, who inhabits her body. And so she does kind of have to negotiate a little bit with Oya. Oya is a very strong, powerful influence in this story. But I really love that she is just so street smart and so savvy and so willing to kind of navigate things and break the rules however she sees fit in order to get things done. Lastly, I'd like to recommend Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls by Elena Favilli and Francesca Cavallo. And this is not a book about middle grade girls, but instead it is a book for them with many mini biographies, 100 mini biographies of women who have rebelled throughout history, of women who have fought against social strictures or against constraints, when they wanted to pursue some sort of passion, some sort of career, something that really defined them. And this book, I think, is just so inspiring. It has all of these great illustrations, one-page mini bios, and it tells stories that I think are so fascinating and so great for kind of these preteen girls to read. It's all about women in art, in science, in politics, in social justice, in sports. So many different women who have said, I'm gonna do what I think is best and what I find fulfillment in, and just really have been stubborn about their goals and their dreams and unwilling to compromise or be told no. So I think that that is absolutely excellent as well. So those are 5 recommendations for middle grade reads that focus on stubborn girls, or really are for stubborn girls, that I think would be absolutely excellent. As an adult, I have loved reading all of these, but especially if you know a girl who's somewhere between 8 and 13, these might be really great stories that she might be interested in reading. If you guys know of any other books that would sort of fit into this category, please leave me a comment below. I definitely would read them.